Rig Veda. First to 10th. First to 10th. So yesterday we talked about the Rig Vedic Mandal first. We have the story of a great truthful king, Harishchandra. Then Rig Vedic Mandal third is very important, Vishwamitra. He composed Gayatri Mantra, a powerful chanting. Rig Vedic Mandal 5 and 6. It explained the agricultural operations. Very limited, but agricultural operations are there. Very limited. Agriculture was practiced by the Aryans, early Aryans in the Rig Veda, very limited. So Rig Vedic Mandal 5 and 6. Then Rig Vedic Mandal 7. Then Rig Vedic Mandal 7, we talked about the Battle of 10 Kings. Battle of 10 Kings. And description of Rashtra. Bharat, dominance of the Bharat tribe, description of Rashtra. And Rig Vedic Mandal 8, we have Dan Stuti. Dan Stuti refers to what? That is, you must donate, you must give. Donate. Donation must be there. So, Dan Stuti. Rig Vedic Mandal 8, Dan Stuti. Then we have Rig Vedic Mandal 9. This Rig Vedic Mandal 9, it defined the god Soma. Soma god was actually, this is a drink. Yes, Aryans take the drink and destroy the non-Aryans. So drinking and destruction had very old relation. So Indra, they drink and destroy the non-Aryans. Soma is a juice of a plant in the Himalayas, herbal product. So nothing to worry. So 9th Mandal is Somaras. This is God. The 10th Mandal, obviously, where will be the 10th Mandal? If this is the period of Veda, Rig Vedic period, so 10th Mandal would be there here only at the end of the Rig Vedic period. 2nd to 7 first, then 8 and 9, then 1st and 10, right? So at the end of the Rig Vedic period, 10th Mandal. So in 10th Mandal, we have origin of Varna system. Origin of Varna system. Varna, you understand? Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Varna system. There are 4 Varnas. Caste, numerous, so many. Varna is 4. And within the Varna there are many castes developed. Caste will develop later on. So Varna system evolved at the end of the Rig Veda. So in 10th mandal, there is a hymns called Purush Shukt. Single rhyme is there, known as Purush Shukt. There is a single hymn, Purush Shukt. And Purush Shukt define the origin of the Varna system. In Purush Shukt, there is a description of Varna system. There is a description of Varna system called Purush Shukt. There is a description of Varna system called Purush Shukt. Purush means supreme. So in Rig Veda, it was understood that Brahma is a creator, Brahma is a god. So Brahma is a creator. So look at, according to the Purush Sukta, from Brahma, there evolved 4 varnas. So from mind, Brahman evolved. So Brahman burned the highest in the hierarchy, which highest and lowest became later. So from arms, Kshatriya evolved. From thigh, Vaishya evolved. And from feet, Shudra evolved. Let us put a jacket for him. So, this is the description of the Varna system. According to Purush Sukta, the 4 Varnas evolved. From the mind, Brahman evolved. From arms, Kshatriya. This all exhibition of the work, this description of the mind, arms and thigh and the feet is basically the work. Your feet does more. If you don't consider your brain is actually working, then definitely physically feet works more, right? And brain always do not work. And somebody had most unused brain on earth is still holding at the age of 22. So Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Description is very, all the context of the religious text is philosophical, expressive, right? So you cannot take it as the present human form. Everything explained in a very philosophical manner. So according to the work, the representation was made. But as I told you, if you born Brahman, then you are not a permanent Brahman, depending on your karma. So Brahman can be degraded as a Shudra also, and Shudra can be upgraded to the Brahman also. Like that, we have a description of a great saint Kanva. Kanva Rishi is very respected among all. He is a composer of the Vedas, but originally he was Shudra who upgraded to, because of his own philosophical ways, he became the Brahmins. So there was inter-Varna mobility. So in Rig Veda it was. But I do not understand that how this Varna system evolved, division of karma. So let us be more expressive on that to understand the origin of Varna system. Look, I hope all of you had aware about your village, because in India I think everybody have the village, because without village there is no Indian. So if I recall the traditional village where there was a joint family, so out of the entire house, in one house, there are many people living. So in one house there will be one person whose daily routine is taking the scented bath, wearing the lovely garment, dhoti, and sitting on the door and whole day narrating the philosophy. Whosoever was caught whole day, what is life? This is the daily routine of one person in the house. Then there is a category of another person, 1, 2, 3. Early morning will put jail and kata hua jeans and will come out from the house. Either will break the bones of others, will come return back with the broken bones. This is the daily routine. Third category is will open the all the cattles, ox, bull, cow, will speak very less, daily routine, open the cattle, will go to the field and evening return back, taking the food and sleep. And the fourth category, early morning will keep on hiding himself so that nobody can see him, otherwise any work will allot him. If this person was caught in the hands of that philosopher man sitting on the door, this man will squeeze him like anything. Chai banao, pani lao, jaru lagao. So will dictate all the works. So this is a division of work in a family. There is a philosopher, there is a breaker of the bones, there is a hard worker, and fourth, those who always keep the work, but whenever he was caught, he would allot it with so many works that he die by the evening. So this is 4 category. This category is in all family. So gradually the division of work in a family will become division of work in a society, right? So upper strata will be known as the philosopher, which is known as the Brahmins, and the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas and Shudras. This categorization, but this is not permanent in the early Vedic period, right? There was inter-Varna mobility, right? Varna was achieved, Varna was not ascribed. So there was inter-Varna mobility. So this is how you can understand in a practical ways that how Varna system had evolved. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. What I said, the division in a family became division in the society and thereafter. But there is a mobility. Later on it will become rigid. But right now in the Rig Vedic period, there was inter-Varna mobility. You can upgrade or you can degrade also as per your behavior. Fine. So this is how the 10th mandal explain about the origin of birth system. And 10th mandal is what? Out of the many hymns in the 10th mandal, one is Purush Sukta. And it describes the origin of Varna system. Basically, it is a division of labor in a family. Then it became division of labor in society. And then it became institution. Okay, fine. So, division of Varna in a family became the division of Varna in the society, and ultimately it became institution in the Rig Vedic period. Right. This is all together. So 10th mandal of the Rig Veda. In 10th mandal, we have origin of universe. Origin of universe. Probably it's all together Big Bang theory. There is a mother earth and there is a father sky, and because of that the universe had developed, the earliest state. We will talk about this in the religious thing, but the origin of universe explained in Rig Vedic Mandal 10th. Rig Veda, I told you, voluminous book. Rig Vedic Sanskrit is different from classical Sanskrit that we study. Classical Sanskrit is different and Rig Vedic Sanskrit is different. Rig Vedic Sanskrit, the many words are very similar to the Indo-European languages. So Indo-European languages means Russian, German, Italian, Persian. It had very close similarity, the Rig Vedic Sanskrit. But there are many changes in the classical Sanskrit. So we are talking about the Rig Vedic Sanskrit. We find the meaning of that Rig Vedic Sanskrit to determine the meaning of the Rig Veda. Now we are studying the geographical knowledge of early Aryans. Geographical knowledge of early Aryans. Means what are the areas which was described by the early Aryans? What are the areas? Obviously, we have sources and sources is only Rig Veda. What are the geographical things mentioned in the Rig Veda? We consider that it was known to the Aryans. Then only when they had mentioned all these things. So the source is geographical information in the Rig Veda. Geographical information in the Rig Veda. This is the source of our knowledge about the early Aryans. So you'll find that in Rig Veda there is a word called Mujabant. This word actually expresses the peak of a Himalaya where there was a plant called Soma, and Aryans, they had taken tough trouble to find the plant, and thereafter it was squeezed and Indra drink that Soma to destroy the non-Aryans. That means they were known to Himalayas. Himalayas was known to them. Then in southern areas we have Vindhyachal. So the word Vindhyan mountain is there in the Rig Veda, but not beyond Vindhyachal. So there is no description of Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. Perhaps they were not so much acquainted with these rivers. Okay. Then western side, we have the rivers of Kabul. In Kabul there are many rivers like Kubha, Kurram, Shuvastu. These are the names of the river of the Afghanistan. So they were very much aware about Afghanistan. But beyond that Afghanistan, there is Iran. And in Iran, the Central Asia, there was a huge river called Oxus River. So in Iran, there is Oxus River, which was not known to the Aryans, means which was not mentioned in the Rig Veda, which is not mentioned in the Rig Veda. So that means these rivers of the Afghanistan may be the western boundary of the information of the Aryans. And the eastern side, they know Ganga, of course Yamuna, but they don't know Brahmaputra. They did not mention that. So this is extremities we found after taking the geographical limit, right? So Afghanistan to Ganga, to Himalayas to Vindhyan. Fine. Then in between, in Rig Veda, there are so many times we have the word Sindhu. So many times. Maximum times any river is mentioned is Sindhu, right? But the Saraswati river mentioned in a very respected manner, that Saraswati was known as Nadi Tama, Ambe Tama. The meaning is the holiest of all the rivers. Meaning is mother of all the rivers. So huge applaud for the Saraswati river. maximum times mention the Indus, okay, and in between the rivers like Satluj, Ravi, Beas, Ghaggar, these are the rivers mentioned. So we can see that entire river belt was described along with the mountains, and this is what is the geographical information of the Aryans. Beyond that, there is nothing mentioned. So we take it is a geographical limitation of the Rig Vedic early Aryans. So geographical information of the Aryans. In northern boundary, they talked about Mujavant. In northern boundary, they talked about Mujavant, which was peak of Himalayas. Peak of Himalayas, Mujavant, which is peak of Himalayas and source of Soma. Source of Soma. So, Aryans were aware about Himalayas. But Tibet, they don't know. So, northernmost limit. Then, in southern limit, southernmost limit, they know about Vindhyan, but did not mention about any peninsular river, but did not mention about any peninsular river like Kaveri, Godavari. They don't mention that in the Rig Veda. The western limit, the westernmost limit was the rivers of Afghanistan. Rivers of Afghanistan like Kubha, like Kurram, like Kabul, like Shubhastu. These are the name of the rivers of Afghanistan. But they did not mention Oxus, Euphrates, the rivers of Central Asia. They did not mention any river of beyond Afghanistan, that is in Iran, Iraq, the Oxus or Euphrates. These are the very important river of Central Asia. They did not mention these two rivers. The eastern limit was description of Ganga and Yamuna. Ganga warns Yamuna thrice. 8 बजे कौन सो के उठता है? Ganga once, Yamuna thrice. But no Brahmaputra. No Brahmaputra. So this is a limitation. Ganga is discussed once, Yamuna thrice in the Rig Veda, but there is no description of Brahmaputra. So we mark the boundary. They know all these areas very deeply. Then,
so since we assume that they came from Central Asia, they must have knowledge of there as well, right? Even though it's not mentioned in Rig Veda.
So kya? What is your question?
So I mean, it's not.
They should have known to the Central Asian rivers.
Yeah, it is like it is kind of weird that they have not mentioned it in Rig Veda.
So means they did not came from Central Asia.
Maybe.
So rivers, that's the reason why yesterday I told you, there's still lots of things to work. And things, Aryans came to 1500 BC and they had so much description about the Saraswati river, which got extinct 250 years before the advent of the Aryans. The rivers which lost its existence 250 years or before, and they described so many times in the Rig Veda. So obviously lots of problem is there, but let us see that when we solve the problem. So rivers mentioned in between, the Indus River described maximum time. Maximum times we have description of Indus River. Sindhu. Sindhu. Persian, they had difficulties in pronouncing the S. So they pronounced as Sindhu is Hindu. Right? So Persian called Sindhu Hindu. Persian. And then Greek came, and Greek always had habit of putting S before any word. So Greek called Hindus and S became silent, so it became Indus. And thereafter, so beyond Hindu river, there is a people living which is called Hindu and Hindustan. Hindustan. So the word Hindu or Hindustan is basically the people living beyond Indus, all are Hindus as per the Persian, and they use the word Hindustan, and here Indus became India. So the word Hindustan is actually pronounced by the Persians. They call all people living beyond Indus is Hindu as per the geographical expression. So this is land of the Hindus. And then Greek call this is land of the Indians, India. And in Rig Veda we have the word Bharat. So different. So Rig Veda we have the name Bharat. So we consider that this name is original name. This was given by the foreigners. So therefore the Bharatvarsh is the word mentioned in the Rig Veda. So that is the reason why Article 1 of the Constitution, India, that is Bharat. Because we continue with the English, so we keep India, and that is Bharat, means actually India is Bharat. So 750 BC, Saraswati river died. So Indus mentioned maximum time, but Saraswati was presented. Saraswati. It was presented the holiest river. holiest river, Saraswati presented the holiest river, that is Ambe Tama. Saraswati was known as Ambe Tama in the Rig Veda, Nadi Tama in the Rig Veda. So Ambe Tama means mother of all the rivers. Mother of all. Nadi Tama means the holiest river, the greatest among all the rivers, holiest river and mother of all the river. Mother of all river. And at the same time, the 5 rivers of Punjab, Satluj, Ravi, Beas, Jhelum, Chenab. We have a different name in the Rig Veda. You have to remember all these things because questions are frequently asked. Satluj is Shutudri. Ravi is Purushni. Spelling may vary, but you remember. Beas is Bipasha. I think you remember that. Bitasta is Jhelum and Askini is Chenab. You have 60 seconds with you to remember the name of the rivers, and I have already identified 5 persons to whom I will ask one-to-one. Among all of you, there are 5 persons I have already identified. Now, nobody is looking towards me. I will ask at right time. So, Sutudri, Prashni, Vipasha, Vetasta, Askini. These are the prominent rivers mentioned in the Rig Veda. Naditama, Ambetama. Fine. So, rivers of the Rig Veda. Point out some geography. Drishtavadi is Rakshi river. Subastu is Swat. Rig Veda regarded India, Bharat Varsha, Jammu Deepa. They had knowledge of sea. Samudra they were definitely knowing. थोड़ा spelling problem है, but the context is same. So Drishtavadi is a river which is present day Rakshi river. So Duni about all these knowledge. There are 21 rivers mentioned in the Rig Veda. There are 21 rivers mentioned in the Rig Veda. Rivers mentioned in the Rig Veda. Now, let's talk about the social life, economic life and political life of the early Aryans, that is the Rig Vedic period. So, social life, economic life, social, economic and political life. of early Aryans. So social life, economic life, political life of early Aryans. Rig Vedic period. In a society of the Rig Vedic period, because what is mentioned there, we talk in that perspective, and we know clearly about what is there in the Rig Veda. So society was actually a homogeneous society, and means egalitarian society, where everybody had equal surplus. There was no extra thing available to anyone. So it was a homogeneous society. But at the same time, the division on the basis of labor developed the Varna system at the end of the Rig Veda. As I told you, Varna was not a fixed unit, but there was inter-Varna mobility, and Varna depends on the karma. So there was a regular upgradation and degradation of the Varna depending on the karma. Fine. Then there was a concept of Gotra, which was extremely exogamous, right? And the five Saga, the great Saga of the Rig Vedic period. We have Gupt, Samad, Vishwamitra, Bamdeva, Atri, Bhardwaj and Vasisht. They laid the foundation of the Gotras, exogamous unit. But what is the society? That simply depends on the condition of women. The condition of women in the society was very respectable. Women had property right. Women had political right, means right to vote. Women received high education. Women also do some restricted rituals that was not exclusive only to the man. So these are the equality procedure, and there was no social evils over them largely. Social evils means there was no sati system, no child marriage, no polygamy, okay, no rituals and no idol worship. Rituals always create purity and impurity. If society is highly ritualistic, there will be a high degree of concept of purity and impurity. This you should touch, this you should not touch. This is pure, this is impure. Fine. And idol worship, make the ritual perfect. So the concept of purity and impurity in the ritualistic mode became the societal norms, and therefore we have the rise of untouchability. So according to the many reformers, or those who having the scientific enlightenment at his claim, they say that the rituals and the idol worship is the main reason for the concept of untouchability, right? So there was no such thing, so there was no untouchability also. So the society was totally refrained from the social evils, except there are always some exceptions, right? But in general, society was on the same line. Okay. Society of the Rig Veda. It was homogeneous society. It was homogeneous society without any social stratification. Without any social stratification. Varna system developed at the end of the Rig Veda. End of the Rig Veda. Varna was not rigid. Varna was not rigid, but There was inter-burn mobility. Burn was not rigid, but there was inter-burn mobility. Burn was purely based on karma. Purely based on karma. There was no social evils. There was no social evils like child marriage, polygamy, practice of widow, sati, etc. The Aryans believed in penance, matlab tap. Believed in penance. They do yajna, but there was no rituals. So penance and yajna is different than the rituals. So there was no rituals, no idol worship. Therefore, no untouchability, no idol worship, and therefore no untouchability. Okay. Then condition of women was very respectable. Condition of women was very respectable. Women had property right, political right, they participate in economic activities. Economic activities. They receive higher education. Higher education. So, Rig Vedic society was an ideal society. Rig Vedic society was an ideal society, except some exceptions. Which was practiced by the gods, but not as a common norms of the society, except some exceptions which was practiced by gods, dedicated to gods, but it was not common norms. Economic life of the early Aryans. Economic life. As usual, because it was a village economy, if the mystery of Harappans and the Aryans would solve, then we will come to know that these are the urban cities of the Harappans, and the Aryans representing the village community, that is Vedic people. Maximum probability would be that they were living side by side. So then there is no problem, because obviously the city could not survive without villages. So there would have been a production activities in the villages, but exclusively that production activity should be agricultural. So, but whatever mentioned in the Rig Veda, the focus more on pastorals. So the main economy was the pastoral economy, and the cow guy was the main form of economy, was called cow. There are two big animals mentioned in the Rig Veda. One was the horse and second was cow. Horse was so important because they were a very good fighter. So therefore they go for the horse because it was a lightning speed. They use chariot, they use all the defense and offense weapons. Okay. So horse is mentioned 215 times and cow is mentioned 176 times. So the second most important animal is cow because the economic activities was related to that. You know, cow was so important that if the common social terms in day-to-day life of the Aryans, it evolved from the word go. Right, suppose there is a war between two tribes. Whatever the reason is of the war, but it was known as Gabisti, that is search of cow. At the main region of the war between two tribes, suppose these are two tribes, entire tribe day night keep on thinking कि how to lift cattle from this tribe. गाय खोलने के चक्कर में रहता था. They had to lift the cattle, and they lift the cattle, there is a war. So it was called Gabisti. Gabisti is the word used for. Right, suppose I will ask you, how much distance is from here to Chandigarh? So you will say 250 kilometers. But that time, Aryans expressed the unit of distance. Suppose you open the cow in the morning, how much distance traveled by the cow in a day? It is called 1 Gabyuti. So Chandigarh would be 5 Gabyuti, means I think 5 days mein pahunch jayega. So this is how the distance was traveled by the cow. You see the evening movie, Godhuli. Godhuli is evening. Mukesh Ambani, Gomat. Those who hold so many cows. तो बहुत गाय है उसके पास. So he is known as the Gomat. Right? Gopati is a king, but Gopati looks very poor. But he kept many Ambanis in the pocket, many Gomat in the pocket. He looked very poor, but many Ambanis in the pocket. So it's called Gopati. That is how all the terminologies. Daughter को बोलते थे दुहित्री. Whole day the daughters, they don't do anything, but in the evening they milk the cow and put at a home and claim that we have contributed in the family economy. So that is called duhitri. So these are the words related to cow. So economic life of the Aryans, it was a mixed economy. Mixed economy. There was pastoral and there was agriculture. Pastoral and there was agriculture. Pastoral economy and agriculture economy. Pastoral economy and agricultural economy. So pastoral economy was a dominant economy. Dominant economy. Go mentioned 176 times in the Rig Veda. (176 times in the Rig Veda). was most important form of economy. Go was medium of exchange also. You purchase something with the help of go. Medium of exchange also. So most important form of economy was go, and it was medium of exchange also. In day-to-day life, all the social terms in day-to-day life, all the social terms derive from go. All the social terms derive from go in day-to-day life. All the social terms derive from go, like gabisti, or goshu, goshu. It was for the war. Gabyuti, the unit of distance. Godhuli, Godhuli, it's a unit of time. Gomat, rich man. Gopati is king. Duhitri is daughter. There are so many words derived from go. So go was a very important form of economy. All the social terms. Agriculture was very limited. Very limited agriculture. Wheat and barley was the two crops grown by the Aryans. Wheat and barley. Godhum and yab. Godhum and yab. So wheat and barley was grown by the Aryans. Very limited, very less. You will find rare. If suppose I will ask you, what was the staple diet of the Rig Vedic people? Then milk and milk product. Milk and milk product. They say early morning curd breakfast, lunch, milk. If feeling more hungry, ghee पी लेता था. So that is the milk and milk product was the main milk and milk product was the main. क्यों डिस्कशन करना कंट्रोवर्शियल बात. So milk and milk product was the main item. खाते होंगे, what is wrong? So milk and milk product was the main item they take, and wheat and barley was the main item. Then they use gold and silver. Gold and silver. They used gold and silver for purpose of trade, exchange, for the purpose of exchange. Gold was called nisk. Nisk. Silver was called Satman. So nisk and the Satman, these two things. But it was not a coin. Gold and silver should not be considered as coins. But it was used as medium of exchange. Means there is no face value, monetary value. You wanted to have today paratha and you don't have the wheat, then give them gold and somebody will give you it. That is how the exchange was done. Exchange was practiced. So therefore it was not a coin, it was simply the piece of metal used as exchange, gold and silver. Barter was the main form of exchange, barter, but without any face value. Barter system they followed. In Rig Veda, there are two words. One was called Aghanya, and second was called Goghana. Let me explain these two words and then understand whatever the ways you want to understand. Aghanya means not to be killed. Not to be killed for any purpose, whether you eat meat or not, so not to be killed, and that is for the cow. Okay, so the word Aghanya was discussed, not to be killed. But Goghana word said that guest is so important, atithi. The guest is so important that you can kill cow even for him. These are the two words mentioned in the Rig Veda. Probably the God thing is there. So guest is so important. Okay, so Aghanya means not to be killed, and this word was used for cow. And Goghana said that even which the animal which could not be killed, but you can sacrifice for the guest. So these two words are mentioned in the Rig Veda. Political life of the early Aryans. Political life of early Aryans. Politics is a beautiful thing. Politics solve many problems. Involved in debate, and thereafter most burning issue will subside, and the false narrative and debate will dominate, and therefore problem solved. In 1971, the Pakistan crisis of the Bangladesh was a very serious crisis. They had done only one mistake. They put politics aside and then put military solution in the front, and therefore they lost. So politics solved the serious debate of the thing. In family also, we have political conflict, and therefore we need political organization. Why we need police, why we need jail, why we need state, why we need law? Because there is conflict in the society. So therefore, these institutions are required. So in family also, we have to find a political organization. So suppose this is a tribe, one tribe is there, and this is another tribe. So this is a one family, this is another family, third family. So there are many families in the tribe, right? But in this family, family means joint family, 3-4 generations living together. एक घर में 72 people रहता है. If suppose today that is house should be declared as a district. So this is a 4 tribe. So here also there is a conflict of many kind. So who will restore the conflict? So there is a concept that eldest wife husband in a family is considered as kulpati, and any conflict they will deliver the justice, and therefore everybody will restore. So here started the political organization. So the family is the smallest unit of society, and family is the smallest unit of political organization. Fine. Then there is a tribe. They don't stay at one place. This tribe is today in Karol Bagh, tomorrow Gurgaon, Pakistan. Right? So keep on moving. So suppose on the way this tribe had a conflict. Conflict start हो गया. Conflict because they lift the cow. They are cattle lifters. They capture the pasture land. They steal the women's slaves. So there is a conflict. So once the conflict is started, every family there is a fighter. बोला था ना जेल लगा के. Every family had a fighter. So suppose in this family one fighter came out. Two fighters. So 4-5 family will constitute a unit of fighters called gram. Sangram. Sangram means war. So therefore there are many grams. There is a Gramini, team leader, who keep on fighting with other tribe, right? And those who left over, so one came out, 3 left over. They are the unit of production. They do agriculture, they do pastoral, they do the household work. They are known as bish. So the political organization, the smallest unit of political organization is called Kula. Kula means family, and family means the head of the family is called Kulpati or Grihpati. So Kula is a family, smallest unit. A smallest unit of society, a smallest unit of family. Kula, a smallest unit of society and a smallest unit of family. Kula is a family. Kulpati or Grihpati. The head of the Kula is called Kulpati. Grihpati means eldest wife husband. Then we have Gram. Next is Gram. Gram is a unit of fighters. Gram means Sangram. Sangram means war. So whenever there is a fight, Gram will come out. So there are many Gram in the one tribe. So head of the Gram is called Gramini. and then Vis. This is unit of production. Unit of production. And head of the unit of production is called Bispati. Bispati means the fighters came out, and those who left over, they are called unit of production. That is the Bispati. And the largest unit is the entire tribe, which is called Jan. Janpati. Janpati means king. Jan matlab hota hai people. So the Janpati is the head of the people, is called king. So king is not like a monarch. King is like all equals. The experienced fighters, king. And in Rig Veda we have the single word called Rashtra. Rashtra. The word Rashtra evolved once in the Rig Veda. And Rashtra is entire India. Bharat Varsha Jambudweep. This is called Rashtra. So these are the political organization hierarchy in terms of numbers. In one tribe, Kula is the smallest number, another tribe is Gram, then Vis, then Jan, and Rashtra is a geographical entity. This is in terms of numbers. This means unit of production. Women are also included in all these units, except Gram. They are not fighters. So here we have women, here we have women, and obviously here we have the women. But this is extremely exclusive to male. The fighters, the Gram, the members of Gram would be male only. Head of the fighters, head of the one battalion is called Gramini. So there are many Gram, so there are many Gramini. So who will be the head of the fighters? There will be election. And this is the reason why the king was also elected, Gramini was also elected. And therefore, it is called the republican system of the Rig Veda. So the king was elected by the people. King was elected by the people. So there was a republican system. So there was monarchy, not less, but republican system in the Rig Veda. So king was elected by the people. Most experienced fighter was elected as a king. And women also vote to elect the king. So most experienced fighter is elected as a king. So early Rig Vedic period was republican system. That is the beauty of the system of the Rig Vedic period.
Only the fighters were allowed to be kings.
Most experienced fighter.
So the women were not allowed to be fighters. So they were excluded from being kings.
Yes. But there are queens. There are 3 Vedic assemblies. Three Vedic assemblies. Three Vedic assemblies means Sabha, Samiti, and Bidat. There are 3 Vedic assemblies. Sabha is assembly of elders. assembly of elders. Assembly of elders. Mainly for the purpose of law and order. Sabha, assembly of elders. Mainly for the purpose of law and order. And women also take part in Sabha. Keep watching everything in the society. There was no CCTV, but there was old women in the society. So this is how the women do take part in society. Samiti. The main work of Samiti was election of king. Monitor election of king. Monitor election of king. Women again take part in Samiti. Election commission tha ye Samiti. So monitor the election of the king. Voting is correct, no cross voting. So, and Bidat. Bidat was assembly of redistribution. Redistribution. What is redistribution? War booty. War booty means, suppose this tribe was a dominant tribe, iska गाय खोल लिया. Women slaves, pasture land, all was as an asset, and that has to be distributed among the tribes. Technically, they should distribute equally, but Bidat gave larger share to the king and then fighters, and the rest others, they got chocolate toffee. So therefore this king every time getting the larger share, so will become more dominant, very affluent, will dominate over all the institutions, and therefore always king, once a king, always king. And thereafter the republican system will turn into monarchy. Right? So till there was equal economic thing, there was republicans. But because of the unequal distribution, one person became dominant. Economically dominant means dominate all the social institutions of the tribe, and therefore the republican system will turn into monarchy. Understand? So what is the work of the Bidat? Redistribution of wealth, redistribution of war booty. That is spoils of the war. Spoils of war. Mainly cattle, pasture land, and women slaves. Women slaves. So obviously for the marriage, they capture the women slaves, and therefore gradually there will be polygamy in the later Vedic period. Okay. So pasture land, cattle, and the women slaves. This is war booty.
So that the women were respected.
Respect hai. Marriage, after marriage, respect. So this Bidat do unequal distribution of wealth. Unequal distribution of wealth. Bidat was responsible for unequal distribution of wealth. This resulted in transition from republicanism to monarchy. Republicanism to monarchy. Means actually Vedic people, they had a continuous war, so they always aspire for the male child. So all the hymns was expecting the male child. It simply due to the need of the man in the war. But इसका मतलब नहीं है कि women was not respected. And women sleeps because of the demographic inequality. So they after capture the women and thereafter they marry from other tribes. And therefore this is a sense of respect also, not as a derogatory capturing of the slaves of the different kind. So redistribution of wealth. 3 Vedic assemblies, Sabha, Shamiti and Vidat. Okay, then come to the later Vedic period. Means 1000 BC to 600 BC. BC to 600 BC. Later Vedic period. Huge transition. The main transition which caused everything changed is a transition from tribal mode of production to agricultural mode of production. Tribal mode of production to agricultural mode of production. Tribal mode of production to agricultural mode of production. That is pastoral economy, hunting, food gathering economy, that now had the settled agricultural economy. This is the main reason that every institutions had transformed. Okay, so let us see first the social change. There was social stratification. Social stratification. It was the rigidity of Varna system. Rigidity of Varna system. Varna became rigid. Rigidity of Varna system. So, inter-Varna mobility was restricted. Inter-Varna mobility was restricted. Varna was ascribed and not achieved. Varna was ascribed and not achieved. Inter-Varna mobility was restricted, Varna was ascribed and not achieved. Social think in the world. By birth. Okay. Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, they got privilege. Brahmanas and Kshatriyas to upper Varna got privilege. had nexus. They had nexus of give and take. Give and take. Brahmana, Kshatriya, they got privilege, they had nexus of give and take. Look, what kind of nexus you expect Brahmanas and Kshatriyas? In fact, Brahmanas, because of superlative philosophical caliber, legalize the rule of the Kshatriyas. Brahmanas will make the acceptability of Kshatriyas among the people. Brahmana will tell the people that this man is born to rule. Okay? And then Kshatriyas share the taxation and dan and dakshina to Brahmanas. Therefore, these two things, let's call nexus, give and take. So Brahmanas give legitimacy of the rule of Kshatriya. Brahmana gave legitimacy to rule of Kshatriya. And Kshatriya provided share in taxation and dan dakshina. So this is give and take. Vaishya was numerically very strengthful. Vaishya was high in numerical strength. Means number-wise, numerical strength. Number-wise, Vaishya was highest. Their numbers was highest. So Vaishya had numerical strength in the society. Numerical strength in the society. Highest numbers. Vaishya was economically very powerful. Economically very powerful. But condition of Shudra and condition of women degraded. Condition of women degraded. Look, try to understand this. That in monarchy, those who are less efficient will be subjugated more. Those who are less contributor will be subjugated more. So the Vaishyas and Shudras, the less contributor and less physically strengthful, will be subjugated. Monarchy, number of women is a status symbol. So polygamy. Whenever there is a polygamy, there will be child marriage. So these social evils will develop. So therefore, in later Vedic period, we have subjugation of women and Sudras because they were less physically strengthful. In later Vedic period, there was subjugation of women and Sudras because of less contribution in economy, and weak physical strength. Weak physical strength. There was rise of polygamy. There was child marriage, untouchability, rituals, and the practice of dan and dakshina. So polygamy, child marriage, untouchability, rituals, practice of dan and dakshina. No. There was the concept of widow. Widow system had developed, but there was practice of niyog. Now, what is niyog? That if a widow don't have any kid, then widow can cohabit with the brother of the deceased husband to have a son, and the son will get the name of the original father. So that is how the inheritance was done, right? So niyog is the practice in which widow cohabit with deceased brother. Deceased husband's brother. To have the son. This is practice of niyog. The widow can cohabit with deceased husband's brother to have son. So obviously the rights and obligation pass through father to son, and this is how the widow retain the social rights. Okay, so this is concept of widow, but there was a practice of niyog. Rituals became very significant. There are 16 sanskar of human. I will tell you what is 16 sanskar. So pre-birth, birth and death, a lady conceive, then Brahman will come, dakshina. You should have a male child, which is aspiration. Brahman will come, dakshina. So baby born, and the baby born, then Brahman will come. What should be the alphabet on which you should have a name of the baby? If you give good dakshina, then you will have a good letter, A, S, P, something like. If you did not give the good dakshina, Brahman will tell you Jad se naam rakho, and then Zelensky rakhna padega. So therefore, zombie. So there is all the dakshina matters a lot. So in Gautam Sutra or the Giri Sutra, there are 16 sanskars, pre-birth, birth and till death. Garbhadhan, Pumsabam, Simantunayan, Jat Karm, Nam Karm, Niskarm, Annaprasan, Chaul, Karna Veda, Upanayan, Vidyaramb, Vedaramb, Kesan, Sambartan, Viva, Antesti. There are 16 sanskars are there in the Vedic rituals. So, उपनयन वगैरह तो अभी भी है, हाँ. But actually main thing is that the last thing I used is antesti, right? And you haven't noticed that the second last thing I used is vibah. So caution is, after Vivah, you have only one thing left in the life. Antyeshti. So these rituals which is arranged in proper order, so therefore you take the lesson that why to go for the second last over so quickly, so that we have only last over left. So after Vivah you have only Antyeshti left. So those who got married, they should wait for Antyeshti. So 16 sanskars are there. Each sanskar was having heavy dan and dakshina every time. So Brahmanas will come. So out of the 16 sanskar, there is a one which is called Upnayan. Upnayan means, I hope those who know the thing, that there is a thread presented to the, on a certain age after rituals. So it was said that those who perform, Upnayan is must. Upnayan means that it is your rebirth. After taking birth, there is a rebirth. Right. So only Brahman, Vaishya and Shudraj, Vaishya, Kshatriyas and Shudraj, they are entitled for Upnayan. Those who did not perform the Upnayan, they became Shudraj. So they are called Dvij. Dvij means twice born. So Brahman, Kshatriya and Vaishya, they are twice born. And those who did not perform Upnayan, whether they are Brahmins, they became Sudra. So this is a very important ritual prescribed. At a certain age, you must go for this ritual. Okay, so there are 16 sanskars. So out of that, this Upnayan is a very important one. Upnayan is very important one. So Upnayan is a concept of rebirth, that is twice born. Twice born. Only Brahman, Kshatriya and Vaishya are entitled to have Upnayan. Entitled to have Upnayan. They are known as Dvij. Dvij. D-W-I-J, Dvij. Those who do not perform Upnayan are equivalent to Shudras. Okay. But women also do Upnayan. Women also do Upnayan. Among the Sudra, the chariot maker, chariot is very important in the war, and they make the chariot. They are Sudras. So chariot maker known as Rathkar or Suta, they were entitled to have the Upnayan because they make the chariot, which is very important for the war. Rathkar or Suta, they are the carpenter class, Sudras, but they make the chariot, that is very important for the war, and therefore they are entitled to have the Upnayan among the Sudras. So rituals are very important part of the social life. Okay. Then there are 8 types of marriage. 8 types of marriage. Brahm marriage, Dab marriage, Arsh, Prajapatya, Gandharva, Ashur, Rakshas, and Paisach. These are the 8 types of marriage in Vedas. Eight types of marriage. Brahma marriage by family consent and dowry. Dowry is must. Dowry. Family consent and dowry. And dowry means a pair of ox or cow from bride to groom, bride side to groom side, bride side to groom side. There are 2 theories regarding the dowry, that how dowry had started. So one theory said that the women had the property right, so this is the part of the property handed over to the inheritance with the groom. Okay. Second important thing, which is most likely, that dowry act as a cementing fact of the marriage. It strengthened the marriage bond, because you gave dowry to the groom, his sister will also get married with the same dowry. His sister will also get married to the same dowry. So one pair of ox or one pair of cow will marry so many. That is the dowry. So if one marriage has to be broken, then dowry has to be returned. So series of the marriage has to be broken to return the dowry. And therefore the marriage is unbreakable. So that strengthen the ties, that marriage should not be broken. In Australian tribe, the marriage in many tribes of Australia, the marriage do for the old things. Suppose you have a old spear, talwar hai aapke paas, which is very old. So this talwar was gifted to the groom side and their sister. So one talwar, one swords will be the marriage for many. So if one has to be broken, break the marriage, that swords has to be returned, the series of the marriage has to be broken. And that is the reason why the marriage is started. So perhaps this is the reason. One is the economic thing, and other was to prevent the marriage from dissolving. Okay. That means the marriage with the priest. Brahmana said that if you marry with the priest, that means you are marrying with the God. High intellectual ideas is superlative imposition. So if you marriage with the Brahmanas, means marrying with the God. Ars means bride price. Bride price. Reverse dowry. Groom side will give it to the bride side. Bride side. Groom लड़का वाला girls को देगा, girls की family को. That is the bride side. So pair of ox or pair of cow. So reverse dowry. This is called bride price. Prajapati means no give, no take. There were ideal family also at that time, those who don't believe in give and take. So this was also there, one form of the marriage, no give and no take. Gandharva is a love marriage. Ashur and Rakshas. Hardly difference between Asur and Rakshas. Rakshas is little more genetically modified than Asur. So both look like human, but the activities are like genetically modified Rakshas. So Asur is unmatched marriage. The older man marrying with a small girl, or the reverse is also there. The old women marry with the small boy. So unmatched marriage by age, Asur. Rakshas, marriage by capture. Marriage by capture. Paisach is deceived marriage, dhokha se. So deceived marriage. Like marriage solemnized after looking the Facebook DP. This is the biggest scam in the world. So deceived marriage. Right? So if you want to marry, then ask for the Aadhaar card photo. So deceived marriage means girl is not of sound mind, intoxicated, or photo किसी और का, marriage किसी और से. That's also true. So this is how deceived marriage. Girl is not of sound mind, intoxicated by treachery. So this is how this is unapproved. Bola no, not to be solemnized, and these are approved marriage. Many of you are not happy with putting the Gandharva marriage in the unapproved marriage list. I know, but this is a Vedic time, but that was a Vedic time, this is a different time. So here every time is your time, your life, your choice. Polyandry bhi, that is a very rare thing. One god was said to have many wives, or the one woman, Rodashi, was having many husbands. So this is the exceptional thing, but not the societal thing. So even in the Rig Veda there was exception of polygamy. So we talk about the general things. These are not to the common man. So this is a marriage form. So social life of the later Vedic Aryans. Then come to the economic life. Again there was a mixed economy. Economy was mixed means there is pastoral, agriculture. But agriculture economy was dominant economy. Dominant economy. Agriculture economy was dominant economy. Right. So we have variety of crops. Variety of crops. Most importantly, rice. Rice developed for the first time variety of crops, Brihi and Tandul. These two words was used for the rice. These two words was used for rice. So Brihi and Tandul. Pulses, wild seeds, so many things, multiple crops, variety of crops, but the rice, earlier we have wheat and barley, but now this appears in the later Vedic period. The name of the crops, the variety of crops mentioned in Yajurveda. Yajurveda. Yajurveda mentioned so many crops. The name of crops was very much described in Yajurveda. Mentioned so many crops. Later Vedic literature, except Rig Veda, is all later Vedic literature. Yajurveda, Samveda, Atharveda, Brahman, Aranyak, Upanishad, Vedang, Upaved, all. So, how many Brahmins are there? 108. So, out of the 108, some are very important. So, there is a one Brahman, the literature, Satpat Brahman. So, Satpat Brahman Satpat Brahman, this book describes all agricultural operations. All agricultural operations. Along with use of tools. Use of agricultural tools. Satpat Brahman described about the all agricultural operations along with the use of tools. Satpat Brahman, all agricultural implements and the agricultural operations. Hardwood was used to make the plowshare known as khadira. Was used for plowshare. Plowshare. So the fall, that is the plowshare, was used by woods because iron was not so hard. Iron was not used for plowing. It was very soft iron, not used for plowing, very soft iron. It was used for making the war weapons. War weapons. It was used for making the war weapons. So spears, swords, these are the things. In later Vedic period, we have found iron weapons at many places. Mathura, Kaushambi, Allahabad, Hastinapur, Atranji Khera. These are the places in Haryana, UP, where we have found the iron weapons. Mathura, Koshambi, recently Atranji Khera and Hastinapur. We have found the iron weapons. But not plowshare. Never found the plowshare. Plowshare, you understand? The plow was, there is a iron plow and then it till the soil. So, Mathura, Koshambi, Hastinapur, Atranji Khera, these are the places we have found the iron weapons, but not the plowshare. Hardwood was used. Then lastly, the political life. Political life. Iron was used mostly. Iron came into existence after 1000 BC, so later Vedic period. Iron was known as Krishnayas. Iron was known as Krishnayas. Syamayas, because it looked black. IAS, YAS. Krishnayas, Syamayas, these are the used for the iron, copper, because it had a black color. Political life. Political life. Beginning of territorial monarchy. Beginning of territorial monarchy. So, in Rig Vedic period, there was Jan. In later Vedic period, it became Janpad. So, Janpad means territory. So, the difference in the political thing is Jan transformed into Janpad. Janpad. So, 1500 BC to 1000 BC it was Jan, and 600 BC it was Janpad. Jan to Janpad. Jan to Janpad. Transition from Jan to Janpad. Territorial monarchy. So obviously, two earliest territory was Kuru and Panchal. Kuru and Panchal. Kaurav Pandav and Panchal Draupadi. So mainly two tribes, very dominant tribe. Bharat and Puru, they constituted Kuru. Bharat and Puru, these two dominant tribe of the Rig Veda, they constituted a territory called Kuru, Kurukshetra. So Kuru, this is Janpad, earliest Janpad. And then Panchal, Yadu, Turbasha, Anu, these are the tribe which actually made the Panchal. So, earliest tribal structure had formed. Yadu, Turbasha and Anu. So we have the earliest tribal structure found in the Rig Vedic period, later Vedic period. So if there is a king, then there will be tax collecting method, there will be bureaucracy, ministers. So each state had 12 ministers. Each state had 12 ministers. Ratnin. According to Satpath Brahman, Ratnin means ministers. According to Satpath Brahman, there are 12 Ratnin. There are 12 ministers. There were 2 tax collecting authority. There are 2 tax officers, sorry, not 2 tax collecting authority. There are 2 tax collecting authority. One was called Bhagdug. And second was called Akshbapa. Akshbapa. Bhagdug is tax collector and Akshbapa was auditor. Tax collector and auditor. There are 2 kinds of taxes. Bhag and Bali. Bhag and Bali. Bhag is king's share in produce. King's share in produce. It was 1/6. And Bali was voluntarily offered or voluntary offering. In terms of fruits, milk, vegetable, oil. Fruits, milk, vegetable. This is voluntary offering. The fruits, milk, vegetables, all was offered to the king. The general concept is how much you will give to the king, that much in addition to your wealth. Okay, so keep on sending regularly. Subah utke vegetables, milk, fruits, you must give it to the king. So Bhag and Bali, these 2 taxes was mostly south, right? Tax given in the gold also. The tax given in the form of gold was called Hiranya. So tax given in the form of gold is called Hiranya. So gold was widely used for the medium of exchange. So there is a monarchy, and monarchy had a different character. So these are the changes you observe. Yes, in Yajurveda, there are 3 yajna prescribed for the Brahmanas, prescribed for the Kshatriyas, 3 yajna prescribed for the Kshatriyas. Ashwamedh yajna, Rajaswi yajna, and third is Vajpayee yajna. Vajpayee yajna. So these yajna was for the Kshatriyas. So Ashwamedh yajna is basically you lift the horse after the yajna, and whosoever will stop it, there will be war. So that means you are an imperial king, undefeated, unchallenged. Right? Vajpayee yajna is something like that. You after the yajna, you drink the water of the yajna, and thereafter you become young like anything. So Brahmana will come and will ask the old king, sir, do you want to become young? The king said, why not? Start the yajna and take the water from the yajna. Then Rajasuya yajna is a chariot race. The chariot race means the so many chariot will have a race, and the king's chariot must win. The match was fixed. That is called the chariot race. So this is superiority of the king. So these type of the yajna was prescribed for the Kshatriya also. So the political authority had become divine monarchy. Monarchy converted into divine monarchy. So monarchy converted into divine monarchy. So you have to do some work. You daily do work at home, like the way that I gave bhasan yesterday. You people do all the works accordingly at home. You follow my words like anything. So some points, facts and figures, Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda. So in here the Rig Veda, many times we have seen the question that who is the priest? There are 17 types of the Brahmins also. The Brahmin is not a single varna, but there are 17 types of the Brahmins, and they do different types of the rituals. There was class. So Brahmin is out of the 17. Out of the 17 types of the priest, one is Brahmin. So those who speak, those who chant the Rig Veda, the priest was known as Hotra or Hota. This question was also asked in prelims many times. Right, so Hotra, the priest, that the priest who chant the Rig Veda was known as Hotra. Hotra. Second is, that is Sam Veda. Hotra is the priest. Second is Sam Veda. The Sam Veda, the priest was called Udgata. This is also known as This is also known as Sangeet Shastra. Sangeet Shastra. That is origin of Indian music. Origin of Indian music, from classical music to modern rap music. Origin of Indian music, from classical singer to Justin Bieber, that is Samved, all comes from. So the master, that is those who chant Udgata. Yajurveda, it deals with the rituals, and the priest is called Advaryu. Advaryu. Atharvaveda. We have Ayurveda, Tantra, Mantra, magic, witchcraft, everything. Ayurveda. Then we have Tantra, Mantra, magic, witchcraft. So this is a work of non-Aryans. There is a geometry, there is a mathematics. In this Arthashastra. Rekha Ganit also. Geometry, astronomy, Jyotish, and mathematics. All there in the Atharvaveda. So book of mathematics, book of astronomy, book of medicine, all. Atharvaveda is a work of non-Aryans. Although no Brahmans asserted, so therefore Brahma had recited this Atharvaveda. So Brahma reciting the Atharvaveda. There are some important Upanishad. I hope you had the story of Nachiketa, and his father was fighting with the Lord of the Death, Yam, and finally Nachiketa got the life. So this story is there in the Kathopanishad. The story of Nachiketa, Kathopanishad. There are some important Upanishad. So this is Kathopanishad. Kathopanishad. Story of Nachiketa. Is Upanishad creation of universe. Creation of universe. You remember this. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, doctrine of transmigration of soul. Soul leave your body and will take another body. So doctrine of transmigration of soul. Atma, the concept of Atma is in the Kathopanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Right? Satyamev Jayate, Mundaka Upanishad. Yes. The greatest of the philosopher of all time, Lord Krishna, Chandogya Upanishad. Krishna, son of Devaki, his mother was Devaki, and disciple of Angiras, was mentioned first time in Chandogya Upanishad. He was from the Yadav tribe living in Mathura region, and he established the cult of Krishna. Kena Upanishad is discussion of Parvati, the wife of Lord Shiva. Maho Upanishad deals with the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Maho Upanishad you must remember. So two greatest theme, Satyamev Jayate and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, is Mundaka and Mahopanishad. Mundaka and Mahopanishad. Look, one concept you understand here already, we have talked about the varna so many times. So varna system was dividing the society in four varnas, that is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. So varna system, once varna system became rigid, so if there is a problem, there is a solution. So in the later Vedic period, what solution comes out for the rigidity of varna system? This is the horizontal division of the society. So now they come out with the concept which is called ashram system. Ashram system means one age group of Brahman, one age group of Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra belongs to the same ashram. Right, right. We have like Brahmacharya ashram. Brahmacharya ashram means the person below the age of 16 years. Suppose whether the baby below the 16 years, whether Brahman or the Kshatriyas or the Vaishyas or Shudras belong to the Brahmacharya ashram. So it is vertical division. Varna became rigid. Societal division. So in order to break the rigidity of varna system, there is a new concept called ashram. So Brahmacharya ashram, whether Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra belongs to the varna ashram. Then we have the Grihasth. Then we have Banprasth. And then we have Sannyas. Right? So from where we got the concept of ashram system? Jabala Upanishad. Jabala Upanishad, it described the ashram system. Jabala Upanishad. It described all the four ashram system to break the rigidity of varna system. So this is also Upanishadic thought. Sannyas, the last. So sannyasi can be any type, whether any varna, Brahman or Shudras. Banprasth also, Grihastha also. This is the how they try to break the rigidity of the varna system with the concept of ashram system. Look, generally it was said that the Purusharth and ashram are the two bases of Indian society. Purusharth and ashram are two bases of Indian society. Two bases of Indian society. Purusharth and ashram system. So there are Purusharth called Dharma, Arth, Kam and Moksha. There are Dharma, Arth, Kam and Moksha are called Purusharth. Two bases of Indian social system. Two bases of Indian social system. Dharma, Arth, Kam and Moksha. So the concept of moksha is also very different. Generally, if you think that you will do good karma, you will go to the heaven. The great seers, the great priest, they don't go to heaven, they make heaven here only. And evil people, they don't go to hell, they make hell here only. So whether you have the concept of hell and the heaven, there is no life after this life. So if you are a very nice person, you are a very good priest, priestly behavior, always intended for good works, then you will make heaven and earth. And suppose somebody is an evil man, will make the thing hell here only. So the saints don't go to the heaven, they make heaven here. Right? And the demons, they don't go to the hell, they make hell here only. That's the moksha is different. So good and bad things you have to understand. And calm means definitely you have a passion and thereafter you have a generation to continue your ideas. Earth you should earn for your family, that is your liability. And dharma means duty. You must understand the duty. The Purusharth and Ashram are the two bases of Indian society. That concept had developed in the later Vedic period. These are the Upanishadic concept. So later Vedic period. So some of the Upanishad you must remember. These out of the 108 we have only 5, 6. Simply understand your root of your civilizational evolution. So even though don't you find the things difficult, I don't think now it is a difficult, because now everything whatever we discuss is enough. But you must know. Here also, like we have the Vedang. There are 6 Vedang. There are 6 Vedang. So what is the purpose of Vedang? This is primarily how you will study the Vedas. So these are meant to understand the Vedas. Right? There are different pronunciation. Nirukt, etymology, Siksha, Chand, Vyakaran, Kalp and Jyotish. Right now I told you, this Grih Sutra or the Dharma Sutra, there is a concept of Sola Sanskar. 2 days back I told you that Sulbh Sutra, it deals with the geometry, how the ritual Havan Kund was made. right? So whether it is Yajurveda or the Sulb Sutra or the modern Panditji, they construct the same geometry. So these are the things you must understand. So remember what is meaning of Nirukt, what is meaning of Chand, what is meaning of Kalp, what is meaning of Vyakran, what is meaning of Jyotish. Only meaning, not so much of the detail. Shiksha. So Shiksha, Kalp, Jyotish, Chand and Kalp and Vyakran. These are the 6 Vedangas. So केवल मीनिंग क्या है उसका? Simply that. So name of the book Sulb Sutra is related to geometry. Shrat Sutra dealing with the social ceremonies, right? From where we have the 8 types of marriage. Eight types of the marriage, social ceremonies, right? You know, there are 16 sanskar, and daily you have to perform 5 yajna. 5 yajna and 5 times namaz, very close interlinked with the religious thing, but in Vedic period, in the later Vedic period, it was must that you have to do 5 yajna daily. You early morning you got up and you start doing the yajna. Brahmana will come any time. Morning का किया था? नहीं, नरक में जाएगा. You'll go to hell. So this is how the early morning you got up until you go to the bed in the night. 5 times you must perform the yajna. Otherwise, no ticket to heaven. So these are the things mentioned in the Shrat Sutra, right? Gri Sutra, 16 sanskars. So therefore, Kalp is a rituals, and Jyotish is, that is astronomy, the movement of the planets and the impact of the planets on your life. That is Jyotish. So this is called Vedang. Fine. So that's all for the day. हम लोग कल will take of 10 minutes around थोड़ा सा PGW culture and some 3-4 facts, and then we'll come to the biggest ever thing, Mr. Buddha. Yes, but he is your soft power. Normally आप लोग पढ़ते हैं कि what is your soft power? What is India's soft power? So India's soft power, the biggest soft power is the ideology and receiving of Gautam Buddha that you spread all over the world. So this is your soft power.